Paul and I took a little drive up the Rio Grande Valley today, and we missed lunch. So we're going to try to throw together a quick little meal. That's a real favorite of ours. It's kind of a variation of Italian sausage and peppers. We're going to cook it today with chicken tenders. We're going to start with a little bit of olive oil over kind of a medium-high heat to get started. I'm going to add just a little bit of minced garlic to that. More to flavor the oil a little bit than as an ingredient. And we'll let that oil get hot. We have about 1.25 pounds of chicken tenderloins, which is our favorite go-to chicken, really and truly. It's more moist than a breast, and we prefer the white meat over the dark meat. But you could make this with thighs or chicken breasts or anything. We make it with Italian sausage. We make it with steak. We make it with shrimp. It's just a protein with some onions, peppers, tomato sauce, and today we're going to serve it over rice. Okay, we're going to add our chicken here. Like I say, it's just about it's just a hair over a pound. It's about 1.25 pounds, 1.25 pounds. We put it right in that oil in our non-stick pan. This is our everyday pan. You make it in any skillet, as long as you've got room for your product. We often make this with Italian sausage links, mix the two together. That's a great meal. So get that going there. Take just a little while for that chicken to cook, and then we're going to add some onions to this here in just a minute. Okay, our chicken has begun to brown, and so we're going to get it turned over so we can brown the other side, and we'll add our onions so that they can begin to cook. Now, taking the onions, I just cut them in half and then sliced each half into quarters so that we'd have pieces that approximate the size of our peppers that we're going to add to it here in just a little bit. We'll put them in there and let them kind of saute down a little bit. In the meantime, we're going to begin to cook our rice. I'm going to cook about 1/2 cup of rice. I'm going to start with a little olive oil. And not a lot, just enough maybe to cover the bottom of my pan. And we'll turn that pretty high heat. So we want to bring our water to a boil pretty quickly once we get that all put together. We're just going to heat that oil up just a little bit. Some people might use butter or margarine. I tend to use olive oil, and we think it comes out really nice. Now for Paul and I, generally we find that 1/2 cup of rice does us pretty well for a meal. I'm going to put it right in that oil. And we're going to stir that around and coat those rice grains with that olive oil. And then we'll add a cup of water to our rice and bring that to a boil. I'll be honest with you, I used to be, I just had a terrible time getting rice, getting it right, being consistent. and we didn't often eat rice because we struggled to cook it and cook it correctly. But this method has worked out perfectly for us. We'll bring that to a boil and then put a lid on it. I'll be honest with you, I've made it dozens of times without putting a lid on it. But when it comes to the final little bit of cooking, having that lid on there instead of flame underneath it helps it to get done more evenly without sticking to the bottom of the pan. Okay, we can see that our onions are gained a little translucent look, begun to brown a little bit. Our chicken, I've cut it open to see that it's done on the inside. So we're ready to add our peppers to this. You can see here on the left, our rice has begun to boil. We'll turn that down real low, give it a stir, and pop a lid on that. Now here's our secret to this deal, and that is the Oliverio medium hot peppers in a tomato sauce. Now these are only available in central and southern West Virginia, so I'm sorry, but these make just an absolutely great great addition to this meal. You can do peppers and add to that a tomato sauce or make a tomato sauce, but these are just absolutely wonderful. I'm going to put them in there. Turn our heat down to low. Give that all a good stir. And let that simmer for about 15 minutes until everything is hot and those flavors have begun to incorporate into the chicken. And in the meantime, our rice is cooking up. Okay, we've been simmering for about 15 minutes, and we've got this just perfect. I got to tell you, I cheated a little bit and tasted to make sure that it was good. If it needed a little bit more seasoning, my go-to seasoning is this Tone's Italian seasoning that I get. It's just your basic Italian seasonings. Oregano, marjoram, thyme, rosemary, sage, basil. You could just, any of those seasonings or combination thereof to add that a little bit of flavor, but this doesn't need it. There's plenty of flavor in those Oliverio peppers. So I'm going to turn my fire off. You can see that my rice has been sitting here and it is steamed perfectly. It didn't stick to the bottom of the pan and it is perfectly cooked. And there we go. Chicken with peppers and onions, a side of rice, and a little garlic toast. Pretty good groceries.